Welcome to No Sleep Chronicles, where the lights are always low and the nightmares never end. Here, we share the haunting stories that lurk in the shadows of your mind. Brace yourself for unsettling encounters, unexplained mysteries, and tales so chilling you'll question every creak in the darkness. If you're ready to face the unknown, you've come to the right place. Story 1. My uninvited roommate. I'd been living in a college apartment with a couple of roommates, regular off-campus housing. We each had our own bedroom and shared a kitchen and living room. One semester, 2 of my roommates were gone a lot, leaving me alone for days at a time. At first, I noticed small things. A cup missing from the cupboard, leftovers vanishing from the fridge, that sort of thing. I thought my roommates might be sneaking back without telling me, maybe pulling pranks. But it started getting weirder. One morning I woke up and found an empty soda can on my bedroom floor that I definitely hadn't left there. I checked the locks on my windows and door. Everything was secure. My roommates swore they hadn't been around for days. That night I heard faint creaking sounds from the hallway, almost like quiet footsteps. I tried to brush it off. Older buildings make weird noises. But something in my gut told me I wasn't alone. A week later, I saw a small hatch in the hallway ceiling that led to a crawlspace or attic area. My curiosity got the better of me, so I grabbed a chair, propped it up, and opened that hatch. Immediately, a stale, musty smell hit me. I climbed up slowly, using my phone flashlight, and there it was, an old sleeping bag, a pile of wrappers, and half-eaten snacks. Someone had been living right above our heads. There were footprints in the dust leading to another corner of the attic, like they'd been moving around up there. My heart dropped. I was terrified to even breathe. I remember scrambling back down, nearly falling off the chair. I called the police, who came and inspected the crawl space. By the time they got there, the person was gone, but the signs were unmistakable. The scariest part was not knowing how long they'd been there, watching us, sneaking around at night. I still get chills thinking about it. Every weird noise I'd ever heard in that apartment suddenly took on a new meaning. Story 2. The Smiling Man. This happened during one of my late-night walks. I just moved to a new city for work, and I was having trouble sleeping. Taking a midnight stroll used to help me clear my head. One night I was walking down a fairly empty street when I noticed a man on the opposite sidewalk, a bit ahead of me. At first he just seemed a little off. His movements were jerky, like he was dancing or skipping without any music. Then he stopped under a streetlight and turned to look straight at me. Even from a distance, I could see he had this unnaturally wide grin. Something about that smile made my stomach drop. It felt predatory. I kept walking, trying not to stare. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw him step off the curb and cross the street in my direction, still moving in that bizarre, rhythmic way. I sped up a little, trying to act casual. Suddenly, I heard this strange scuffling sound behind me. I glanced back. He was closer now, matching my speed, still grinning from ear to ear. I tried to figure out if he was on drugs, mentally ill, or just messing with me. But there was a deep sense of malice in that smile. My heart was pounding. I crossed to the other side of the street, hoping he wouldn't follow. He changed direction seamlessly, almost like he was dancing in slow motion toward me. At one point, he stopped and did this exaggerated tiptoe, like a cartoon character sneaking around. That made it even creepier because he never dropped that grin. I realized I needed to get somewhere public, fast. There was a 24-hour diner down the road. I broke into a jog. He did the same, only in a weird, playful skipping manner. By the time I reached the diner, my lungs were burning. I dashed inside and told one of the employees someone was following me. They peeked out the window, but the man was gone. I can't explain the sheer terror of being followed by someone who seemed to take such joy in stalking me. I still think about it when I walk alone at night. Story 3. Footsteps in the Attic. I grew up in a 2-story house with a somewhat creepy attic. My room was downstairs right below the attic entrance. Ever since we moved in, the entire family would occasionally hear these slow, heavy footsteps up above. My dad blamed squirrels or raccoons at first, but these footfalls sounded too deliberate, heel to toe, pacing back and forth. It also happened mostly at night, which freaked me out when I was trying to sleep. One evening, I was in the kitchen with my mother and we heard it again, methodical footsteps overhead. My mother shooshed me, and we both stood still. We could hear the boards creaking in a path that led from the attic entrance all the way to the far corner. At one point, my older brother was home alone. He heard the footsteps and thought maybe my parents had returned. He yelled out, "Hey, you guys home?" No response. So he went upstairs, turned on the lights, nothing. Doors were locked, windows were closed, no sign of forced entry. Yet he could still hear faint thudding as if it was behind the walls. We never found any explanation. No nests, no raccoons, no holes. We had a handyman check the attic for signs of animals or intruders. He didn't find anything unusual, yet the footsteps never stopped. We moved out a few years later, and those sounds remain one of the creepiest, most unsettling memories of that house. Story 4. The Hitchhiker's Bag. It was late, snow was coming down hard, and the roads were slick. I was driving home from a friend's place, trying to focus on the icy highway, when I spotted a figure on the shoulder, a hitchhiker wearing a thick hooded jacket. Maybe it was the holiday spirit or my own guilt about passing someone in the cold, but I pulled over. I rolled down the window and asked if they needed a ride. The person nodded without really speaking and climbed into the back seat. The silence was suffocating. I tried small talk, but the hitchhiker gave vague, one-word answers. Their face was half hidden by the hood, and they kept darting their eyes around the car. After about 10 minutes, they pointed to a remote turnoff and asked me to drop them there. No explanation, just, "I can get home from here." The area looked deserted, but I complied. I was uneasy, but I figured maybe they lived nearby. As soon as I stopped, they practically leapt out of the car and disappeared into the darkness. That's when I noticed they'd left a small duffel bag on the seat. I tried calling after them, but they were gone. I checked the bag, hoping to find some ID to return it. Inside, I found a roll of duct tape, rope, and a large hunting knife. My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it in my ears. I slammed my car door shut and sped away, heading straight for the nearest police station. When I handed over the bag, the officers took it seriously. They sent a patrol car to check the area, but never found the hitchhiker. I still don't know what they were planning, or if they picked a different victim after me. Every time I see someone hitchhiking now, I can't help but wonder what's in their bag. Story 5. The "I'm in your house" texts. When I first moved off campus for college, I rented a small ground floor apartment in a quiet neighborhood. It was old, with creaky floors and flimsy locks, but it was cheap and close to my classes. At first, I loved living alone, no roommates, no noise. One evening, I was hanging out in my bedroom when I got a text from an unknown number. "Nice blanket on your couch." I frowned. I didn't recognize the number, and I definitely hadn't posted any photos of my living room with that blanket. I texted back asking who it was, but got no immediate response. Then another message came. "I'm watching TV. Why don't you come say hi?" My stomach twisted. There was no TV in my bedroom, so if someone was watching TV, it had to be in the living room. My heart started racing. Could it be a prank from a friend? I crept out of my bedroom. The living room light was off and the TV was off too. I checked the front door, still locked. Windows were shut. Another text buzzed. "I see you're still in your bedroom. Don't be shy." That's when I realized whoever was texting me actually thought I was still in there, meaning they might be inside. but they didn't know I'd stepped out. Panic hit. I locked myself in the bathroom and dialed 911. While on the phone with the dispatcher, I heard what sounded like the front door rattling. I thought the intruder might be leaving or maybe trying to see if I was outside. When the police arrived, they found the door's lock had been jimmied with. A series of muddy footprints led from the front door to the back window, which was propped open. The intruder had escaped just in time. I moved out as soon as I could. The texts stopped after that night. I still don't know who it was or how they got my number, but I'll never forget that feeling, realizing somebody was in my space, watching me and texting me about it.